We have bombshell news. The SEC does not like Judge Torres' ruling. That's actually not news because we all knew that they didn't like it. But they actually signaled that they will appeal, and they asked a federal judge, in this case, in a Terra Luna lawsuit. Terra Luna is seeking to dismiss the charges, to ignore the Ripple ruling because they may appeal, and they do not believe that Judge Torres applied the securities laws correctly. Now, if they actually want to appeal the Ripple lawsuit, they would actually have to wait until the actual case is over. And of course, with Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson and the SEC still going to trial, that could be a while. There is a special case where they can grant a direct appeal, but those appeals are not granted very regularly. And right now, I don't see a reason why the court would actually grant it. I think it's unlikely, unless this is one of those SEC favored judges, it's unlikely in the Terra Luna lawsuit that the judge would actually ignore the ruling just because they may appeal. Remember, may appeal is not appeal. May appeal does definitely not mean you already won the appeal, and the judges know that. Judges generally do not like to overturn other judges' rulings. They like these rulings to stick. It makes their job much easier to follow precedent, and they don't want federal judges contradicting each other, because if federal judges actually contradicted each other, well, then, we'd have a lot of trouble in the judicial system. So I don't know if this judge will grant the request to actually ignore the Ripple ruling in the Terra Luna case. And even if this judge does, that does not mean other judges will. So it's very, very doubtful that this judge will just not pay attention to the Ripple case ruling, just because the SEC may appeal. So you have to actually go through with the appeal and win the appeal. Before you win the appeal, the ruling that Judge Torres did is still the law of the land. And the SEC does not want to go through the entire appeals process because I think they want to fight Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. They don't really want to settle in whether they helped or abetted the sale of institutional XRP, and that could take 2 years. So it would really be like a year or two before they can even think to appeal, and during that time, that will be the law of the land. And Gary Gensler and the SEC know that in those 2 years, legislation that's favorable to crypto may come down and just may blow their socks out of the water in terms of them trying to do regulation by enforcement. So they're trying to get kind of like a special kind of thing where the judge ignores the Ripple order, but I don't think that will actually work because judges do like to consult other judges and see what they've done. Like in the XRP case, Torres did rely pretty heavily on the LBRY case, which was decided before, which basically said that the ruling does not apply to secondary markets, but primary sales or securities, and that's the way that Torres ruled as well. So other federal judges are likely to rule that way. Now, if the SEC loses the Terra Luna lawsuit because of the Ripple lawsuit, that will actually establish that Torres' ruling is going to apply for all these lawsuits, and the SEC will probably have to appeal. The likelihood of them winning that appeal is pretty low because they don't usually win these appeals and they take a very, very long time. And also, Ripple can then appeal to the Supreme Court, and looking at this composition of the Supreme Court, the SEC is not likely to win that appeal at the Supreme Court level. And if they lose that appeal at the Supreme Court level, then it does actually apply to all lower courts as a de facto matter or de jure matter, a matter of law. So the SEC may not want to go after that route. So they're just trying to look for a special ignore the other order condition, which is not regularly given. And I don't think the judge will give them that kind of discretion. At least I hope not, because the SEC blatantly said in another court that decision is wrong. And any case going forward should just ignore that decision. So I'm pretty sure they're signaling an appeal, but they don't want to go through the 2-year appeal process. So I hope they completely fall flat on their face. They have to go through the appeals process just like everyone else, and maybe they'll just get rejected at appeal as well. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.